We have not missed much. ये तो इसके पहले का जो पैराग्राफ था उसमें ये बताया है कि एक लड़का अपने फादर को पूछ रहा है कि मैं पैसे रख कैसे बन सकता हूँ। एंड फादर आस्क व्हाई डू यू वांट टू बी रिच। तो बोलता है मेरे सामने वाला लड़का, उनके फादर कैडिलक लेके आए, दे गोइंग टू बीच हाउस। उन्होंने दो लड़कों को इन्वाइट किया जो रिच है, मुझे नहीं इन्वाइट किया क्योंकि मैं रिच नहीं हूँ, और मेरे फ्रेंड को। तो ये बात चल रही है अब तक। एंड नाउ वी आर कमिंग टू अ पार्टनरशिप इज फॉर्म।
Hmm.
ये इसलिए बताया मैंने कि रिकॉर्डिंग चालू हुआ अभी, थोड़ा लेट हो गया अपना। यस।
A partnership is formed. The next morning, I told my best friend Mike what my dad had said, as I best as I could tell. Mike and I were the only poor kids in the school. Mike was also in the school by a twist of fate. Someone had drawn a jog in the line for the school district, and we wound up in school with the rich kids. We were not really poor, but we felt as if we were because all the other boys had new baseball gloves, new bicycles, and knew everything. Mom and dad provided us with the basics like food, shelter, and clothes. But that was about it. My dad used to say, if you want something, work for it. We wanted things, but there was not much work available for 9 years old boys. So, what do we do to make money? Mike asked. I don't know, I said. But do you want to be my partner? He agreed. And so, on that Saturday morning, Mike became my first business partner. We spent all morning coming up with ideas on how to make money. Occasionally, we talked about all the cool guys at Jimmy's beach house having fun. It hurt a little, but that hurt was good because it inspired us to keep thinking of a way to make money. Finally, that afternoon, a bolt of lightning struck. It was an idea Mike got from a science book he had read. Excited, we shook hands, and the partnership now had a business. For the next several weeks, Mike and I ran around our neighborhood, knocking on doors and asking our neighbors if they would have saved their toothpaste tubes for us. With puzzled looks, most adults consented with a smile. Some asked us what we were doing, to which we replied, we can't tell you, it's a business secret. My mom grew distressed as the weeks wore on. We had selected site next to her washing machine as a place we would stockpile our raw material. In a brown cardboard box that at one time held cat's up bottle or little pile of used toothpaste tubes began to grow. Finally, my mom put her foot down. The sight of her neighbor's messy, crumbled, used toothpaste tubes had gotten to her. What are you doing, boys? She asked. And I don't want to hear again that it's a business secret. Do something with this mess, or I am going to throw it out. Mike and I pleaded and begged, explaining that we would soon have enough and then we would begin production. We informed her that we were waiting on a couple of neighbors to finish their toothpaste so we could have their tooth. Mom granted us a 1 week extension. The date to begin production was moved up and the pressure was on. My first partnership was already being threatened with an eviction notice by my own mom. It became my job to tell the neighbors to quickly use their toothpaste, saying their dentist wanted them to brush more often anyway. I began to put together the production line. One day my dad drove up with friend to see two 9-year-old boys in the driveway with a production line operating at full speed. There was fine white powder everywhere. On a long table were small milk cartoons from school, and our family's hibachi grill was glowing with red hot coals at maximum heat.
Exactly.
Dad walked up cautiously, having to park the car at the base of the driveway since the production line blocked the carport. As he and his friend got closer, they saw a silly pot sitting on top of the coals in which the toothpaste tubes were being melted down. In those days, toothpaste did not come in the plastic tubes. The tubes were made up of lead. So, once the paint was burned off, the tubes were dropped in the small steel pot. They melted until they became liquid, and with my mom's pot holders, we poured the lead through a small hole in the top of the milk cartons. The milk cartons were filled with plaster of Paris. White powder was everywhere. In my haste, I had knocked the bag over, and the entire area looked like it had been hit by a snowstorm. The milk cartons were the outer containers for the plaster of Paris mold.
Oh,
My dad and his friend watched as we carefully poured the molten lead through a small hole in the top of the plaster of Paris cube. Careful, my dad said. I nodded without looking up. Finally, once the pouring was through, I put the steel pot down and smiled at my dad. What are you
what are
doing,
you?
boys? He asked.
थोड़ा मैं पढ़ लेता हूँ आप बहुत पढ़
Huh,
लेते what are
it's
you boys
okay,
doing?
sir.
He asked with a cautious mind. We are doing what you told me to do. We are going to be rich, I said. Yeah, said Mike, grinning and nodding his head. We are partners. And what is in those plaster molds? My dad asked. Watch, I said. This should be a good batch. With a small hammer, I tapped at the sill that divided the cube in half. Cautious, I pulled the top half of the plaster mold, and the lead nickel fell out. Oh no, my dad exclaimed. You are casting nickels out of lead. That's right, Mike said. We are doing as you told us to do. We are making money. My dad's friend turned and burst into laughter. My dad smiled and shook his head. Along with a fire and a box of spent toothpaste tubes in front of him were two little boys covered with white dust, smiling from ear to ear. He asked us to put everything down and sit with him on the front step of our house. With smile, he gently explained what the word counterfeiting meant. Our dreams were dashed. You mean this is illegal? Asked Mike in a quivering voice. Let, let them go, my dad's friend said. They might be developing a natural talent. My dad glared at him. Yes, it is illegal, dad said gently. But you boys have shown a great creativity and original thought. Keep going. I'm really proud of you. Disappointed Mike and I sat in silence for about 20 minutes before we began cleaning up our mess. The business was over on opening day. Sweeping the powder up, I looked at Mike and said, I guess Jimmy and his friend are right. We are poor. My father was living as I said that. Boy, he said, you are only poor if you give up. The most important thing is that you did something. Most people only talk and dream of getting rich. You've done something. I'm very proud of two of you. I will say it again. Keep going. Don't quit. Mike and I stood there in silence. They were nice words, but we still did not know what to do. So how come you are not rich, Dad? Asked. Because I choose to be a school teacher. School teachers really don't think about being rich. We just like to teach. I wish I could help you, but I really don't know how to make it. Mike and I turned and continued our cleanup. I know, said my dad. If you boys want to learn how to be rich, don't ask me. Talk to your dad, Mike. My dad asked Mike with a straight up face. Yeah, Your dad repeated my dad with a smile. Your dad and I have the same banker, and he raves about your father. He told me several times that your father is brilliant when it comes to making money. My dad, my ass began in disbelief. How come we don't have a nice car and nice house like rich kid is at school? A nice car and a nice house doesn't necessarily means you are rich. One minute. Doesn't mean you are really doesn't mean you are rich kid at school. A nice car and nice house doesn't necessarily mean you are rich or you know how to make money. My dad replied. Jimmy's dad works for the sugar plantation. He's not much different from me. He works for a company and I work for a government. The company buys a car for him. The sugar company is in financial trouble. And Jimmy's dad may soon have nothing, sorry. Your dad is different, Mike. He seems to be building an empire, and I suspect in a few years he'll be a very rich man. With that, Mike and I got excited again. With new vigor, we began cleaning up the mess caused by our all now defunct first business. As we were cleaning, we made plans for how and when to talk to Mike. The problem was that Mike's dad worked long hours and often did not come home until late. His father owned warehouses, a construction company, a chain of stores, and three restaurants. It was the restaurant that kept him out late. Mike caught the bus home after we had finished cleaning up. He was going to talk to his dad when he got home that night and ask him if he would teach us how to become rich. Mike promised to call as soon as he had talked to his dad, even if it was late. The phone rang at 8:30 p.m. Okay, I said. Next Sunday, I put the phone down. Mike's dad had agreed to meet with us. On Saturday, I caught the 7:30 a.m. bus to poor side of town. देखो अभी ये क्या बताया इन्होंने इन्होंने कुछ पार्टनर से बिजनेस चालू किया वो ट्यूब्स थी टूथपेस्ट की ट्यूब थी उसमें लीड निकलता था लीड से वो लोग पैसा बना रहे थे निकल बना रहे थे विच इज इलीगल मगर अब इनके फादर ने क्या बोला कि तेरा फादर माइक को बोलते ही इज रिच उससे सीखो तो जिम्मी है ही ऑल्सो वर्किंग फॉर समबडी लाइक मी और वो शुगर कैन का प्लांटेशन बंद पड़ने वाला क्यों उसको बिजनेस में को तकलीफ हो गई है तो ही माइट लूज एवरीथिंग मगर माइक का डेड है माइक डेड इज बिल्डिंग सम सॉर्ट ऑफ बिजनेस वो कभी खत्म वो बांध रहा है कुछ कर रहा है बना रहा है Therefore, they decided to meet Mike. तो कहानी अब शुरू होगी we'll get right मतलब crux now कि माइक का डेड है वो उसके गाड़ी बड़ी नहीं है घर बड़ा नहीं है मगर ही बिल्डिंग बिजनेस वो आदमी पेशेंस वाला है ये पहले बनाता है और फिर खर्च करता है जिसे एक वो था ना एक ये क्या था एक्सपेरिमेंट बच्चों को बिठाया है और एक लॉलीपॉप दिया है और बोला गया कि जो बच्चा आफ्टर 10 मिनट्स लॉलीपॉप लेगा उसको और एक मिलेगा मोस्ट ऑफ द चाइल्ड टुक दैट फर्स्ट लॉलीपॉप एंड एट इट दे कुड नॉट वेट फॉर 10 मिनट्स और जो थोड़े बच्चे 10 मिनट रुके जब वो बड़े हो गए इट वॉज फाउंड दैट दे हैड लॉट ऑफ पेशेंस और बहुत बड़े आदमी बन गए तो यहाँ पर वही बात चल रही है कि आदमी को खर्च कम करना चाहिए कब बचना चाहिए और कैसे पैसे पैसा बनाना चाहिए so this lesson will start now the lessons begin अभी
सर
तक
मैं पढ़ूंगी
हाँ
सर आई रीड इट ओके ना
ओके
Mike and I met with his dad that morning at 8 o'clock. He was already busy, having been at work for more than an hour. His construction supervisor was just leaving in his pickup truck as I walked up to his simple, small, and tidy home. Mike met me at the door. Dad's on the phone. He said to wait on the back porch. Mike said, as he opened the door. The old wooden floor creaked as I stepped across the threshold of the aging house. There was a cheap mat just inside the door. The mat was there to hide the years of wear from countless footsteps that the floor had supported. Although clean, it needed to be replaced. I felt
Bobby,
claustrophobic as I entered the narrow living room that was filled with old, musty, overstuffed furniture that today would be collector's item. Sitting on the couch were two women, both a little older than my mom. Across from the women sat a man in the workman's clothes. He wore he wore khaki slacks and a khaki shirt, neatly pressed but without starch, and polished work boots. He was about 10 years old than my dad. They smiled as Mike and I walked past them towards the back porch. I smiled back shyly. Who
like,
are those people? I asked. Oh, they work for my dad. The older man runs his warehouses, and the women are the managers of the restaurants. And as you arrived, you saw the construction supervisor who is working on a road project about 50 miles from here. His other supervisor, who is building a track of houses, left before you got here. Does this go on all the time? I asked. Not always, but quite often, said Mike. Smiling, he pulled up a chair to sit down next to me. I asked my dad if he would teach us to make money. Mike said, oh, and what did he say to that? I asked with cautious curiosity. Well, he had a funny look on his face at first, and then he said he would make us an offer.
oh,
Oh, I said, rocking my chair back against the wall. I sat there perched on two rear legs of the chair.
yeah,
Mike did the same thing. Do you know what the offer is? I asked. No, but we will soon find out. Suddenly, Mike's dad burst through the recurring screen door and onto the porch. Mike and I jumped to our feet, not out of respect, but because we were startled. Ready, boys? He asked as he pulled up chair to sit down with us. We nodded our heads as we pulled our chair away from the wall to sit in front of him. He was a big man, about 6 feet tall and 200 pounds. My dad was taller, but the same height, and 5 years older than Mike's dad. They sort of looked alike, though not of the same ethnic makeup. Maybe their energy was similar. Mike says, you want to learn to make money. Is that correct, Robert? I nodded my head quickly, but with a little trepidation, he said, a lot of power behind his words and smiled. Okay, here is my offer. I'll teach you, but I won't do it classroom style. You work for me. I'll teach you. You don't work for me.
I
I
want.
won't teach you. I can teach you faster if you work. And I'm wasting my time if you just want to sit
You
and
can say,
listen like you do in school. That's my offer. Take it or leave it. Ah, may I ask a question first? I asked. No, take it or leave it. I have got too much work to do to waste my time. If you can't make up your mind decisively, then you will never learn to make money anyway. Opportunities come and go. Being able to know when to make a quick decision is an important skill. You have the opportunity that you asked for. School is beginning, or it's over in 10 seconds. Mike's dad said with a teasing smile. Take it, I said. Take it, said Mike. Good, said Mike's dad. Mrs. Martin will be by in 10 minutes after I am through with her. You will ride with her to my separate and you can begin working. I'll pay you 10 cents an hour and you will work 3 hours every Saturday.
And इन्होंने कैसे स्टाइल बनाया, बाइक के डैड ने बोला कि मैं सिखाता हूँ, तो मेरे मेरी सिखाने की स्टाइल इट वोंट बी लाइक स्कूल। स्कूल में जाते हो, बैठते हो, सुनते हो, नोट्स लिखते हो। आई विल टीच यू इफ यू वर्क ऑन। इनका बोलने का मतलब है आप चालू करिए, स्टार्ट वर्किंग, अपने आप सीख जाओगे। दिस इज बेटर वे टू लर्न। आप सीखोगे, नोट्स बनाओगे, फिर आप जाओगे बाजार में और फिर काम करोगे। उससे अभी से काम शुरू। So he made them understand that you have, if you want to earn, you have to start now. Don't wait. और कभी भी काम करने से पैसा नहीं मिलता है, भाषणबाजी से पैसा नहीं मिलता है। यू विल लर्न समथिंग, यू लर्न गुड थिंग्स फ्रॉम देयर। जो एमबीए करते हैं वो कुछ सीखते हैं, बट दे ओनली वर्क ऑन समबडी। पर एक बिजनेस में होता है, अ बिजनेसमैन कैन बी अ पर्सन हु इज नॉट स्टडी ओनली 4 क्लासेस या 5वीं तक पढ़ा है। ऐसे बहुत सारे बिजनेसमैन है, एंड दे हैव डन फैंटास्टिक, कि उन्होंने समय नहीं गवाया। दे डिडंट वेस्ट टाइम इन लर्निंग, दे फाउंड इट, दे जस्ट जंप ऑन इट एंड स्टार्टेड वर्किंग। तो उनका एक टाइम उसमें गया नहीं। तो इन्होंने इसको बोला कि आप शुरू करिए, जस्ट स्टार्ट। आप एक बार स्टार्ट करोगे एंड यू स्टार्ट लर्निंग, यू व्हाइल यू आर वर्किंग आई विल टीच। जब आप काम कर रहे हो तब मैं आपको एक एक चीज सिखाते रहूंगा, एंड दिस इज बेटर वे ऑफ लर्निंग ऑल्सो। But I have softball game today. I said, Mike did lowered his voice to stern tone. वो क्या बोले? Take it or leave it. कुछ नहीं, softball game नहीं. Take it or leave it. I said, I'll take it. Switching to work instead of playing. तो उन्होंने काम करना पसंद किया खेलने से, because वो आदमी एकदम sternly बोला, आपको नक्की करना है, आपको क्या करना है? Are you going to take it or you are going to leave it? ये थोड़ा और बाकी है पढ़ने का। एक मिनट। 30 cents later.
30 cents later, by 9 a.m. that day, Mike and I were working for Mrs. Martin. She was a kind and patient woman. She always said that Mike and I reminded her of her two grown up sons. Although kind, she believed in hard work and kept us moving. We spent 3 hours taking canned goods off the shelves, brushing each can with a feather duster to get the dust off, and then restaking them neatly. It was incruciating, boring work. Mike's dad, whom I call my rich dad, owned 9 of these little separates, each with a large parking lot. They were the early versions of 7-Eleven convenience stores, little neighborhood grocery stores, where people bought items such as milk, bread, butter, cigarettes. The problem was that this was Hawaii before air conditioning was widely used, and the stores could not close their doors because of the heat. On two sides of the store, the doors had to be wide open to the road and parking lot. Every time a car drove by or pulled into the parking lot, dust would swirl and settle in the store. We knew we had a job as long as there was no air conditioning. For 3 weeks, Mike and I reported to Mrs. Martin and worked our 3 hours. By noon, our work was over, and she dropped three little dimes in each of our hands. Not even at the age of 9 in the mid 1950s, 30 cents was not too exciting. Comic book cost 10 cents back then. So I usually spend my money on comic books and went home. By Wednesday of the fourth week, I was ready to quit. I had agreed to work only because I wanted to learn to make money, not from the Mike's dad. And now I was a slave for 10 cents an hour. On the top of that, I had not seen Mike's dad since that was first Saturday. I'm quitting, I told Mike at lunchtime. School was boring, and now I did not even have my Saturday to look forward to. It was the 30 cents that really got to me. This time Mike smiled. What are you laughing at? I asked with anger and frustration. Dad said this would happen. He said to meet with him when you were ready to quit.
Didn't quit.
What? I said indignantly.
Indignantly,
Yeah.
he's been
He's
waiting for me
been
to get fed up.
waiting for me to get fed up. Sort of, Mike said. Dad's kind of different. He doesn't teach like your dad. Your mom and dad lecture a lot.
No.
My dad is quiet and a man of few words. You just wait till this Saturday. I'll tell him you are ready. You mean I haven't set up? No, not really, but maybe. Dad will explain on Saturday.
On Sunday. बस अब इधर ही अपन खत्म करते हैं आज का दिन.
Yeah, yeah.
कल वी वेटिंग इन लाइन ऑन संडे.
We-
अब एक बच्चों को एक काम दिया है और पैसे बहुत कम दिए. And he is expecting, Mike's father was expecting them, no, rich dad was expecting them to be bored. और वो छोड़ना चाहेगा. और जैसे ही उसने बोला मैं छोड़ रहा हूँ काम, माइक ने बोला माय फादर टोल्ड मी दिस टाइम विल कम. और उस वक्त मुझे मिलने को लेके आना. सो कल हम इस आगे चलेंगे ये क्या बोलता है. बिकॉज ही इज नाउ टोटली डेस्परेट. इसको छोड़ना है. ये कंटाल गया है पूरी तरह से. ही वांट टू लीव दिस वर्क. बोलता है पूरा भी स्कूल में बोर होता हूँ. एक सैटरडे मिलता था जब मैं कुछ कर पा रहा था, कुछ एंजॉय कर पा रहा था, वो भी चला गया पता रात से. तो क्या मतलब इसका. तो ही वांट टू लीव इट. क्यों छोड़ना है कि वो थक गए. यही तकलीफ होती है. हम लोग थक जाते हैं. वी गेट टायर्ड यू नो. ये सबसे बड़ी मुसीबत है. एक सेकंड इसको बंद करता पहले. द रियल इश्यू इज वी गेट टायर्ड ऑफ वर्किंग. हमको काम ऐसा जो मजा आता है वो काम करने में मजा आता है. पर समटाइम यू टू अंडरस्टैंड कि जो काम है उसमें मजा लेने का. जो काम है वो है. जैसे हमारे आप सब लेडीज लोग घर पे खाना बनाते हो. खाना बनाना कोई बहुत मजे वाला काम नहीं है, पर आपने उसको मजा दिला दिया है. क्यों. यू आर सर्विंग योर ओन पीपल. आप अपने बच्चों के लिए बना इसके बनाते हो. आपने उसको एक ये बना दिया है. इस खाने में बनाने में मजा ले लिया आपने. तो दिस इज व्हाट इट शुड बी. जो भी काम है उसमें मजा लेने का. एंड देन ओनली यू कैन बी बिग पर्सन. तो ये अभी नेक्स्ट कल जो आएगा आप लोग करेंगे तो आगे के जब बढ़ेंगे तो बताएगा. एंड दिस होल स्टोरी रिच डैड पुअर डैड ओनली ऑन दिस कि कैसे एक रिच आदमी पैसे से पैसा बनाता है. मगर पहले पैसे बनाना पड़ता है. व्हाट वी डू वी स्टार्ट स्पेंडिंग बिफोर वी स्टार्ट. हमारी खूबी क्या है कि पगार तो आया नहीं है, ईएमआई चालू है. बिजनेस का प्रॉफिट आया नहीं है, ईएमआई चालू है. सो वी डोंट इवन सी द मनी विच वी हैव अर्न. उसके पहले ही वो निकल जाता है. तो ये जो हैबिट्स है हमारे, जो पैसे चाहिए हमको और बिजनेस करने की स्टाइल, ये सब इसमें दिखाया गया है. यू रियली वांट टू अर्न, दिस इज वन ऑफ द वेरी गुड बुक. वेरी सिंपल, वेरी सिंपल. बाकी सब बहुत ये रहती है, कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है. इट्स अ वेरी सिंपल बुक. और छोटी छोटी बातें इतनी अच्छी समझाइए. कैसे बैलेंस शीट पढ़ना है, फिर कैसे पैसा बनाना है. हमको खर्चा भी करना है. वी हैव टू हैव अ गुड लाइफ, बट व्हेन टू स्टार्ट, ये सब कुछ दिखाया. सो दिस इज अ वेरी गुड बुक. हम लोग 5 पन्ने पढ़ेंगे, ज्यादा नहीं पढ़ेंगे. 5 पेज एट अ टाइम एंड वी गो स्लोली. कोई घाई करने की जरूरत नहीं है. ओके. सो होप we'll meet tomorrow again at
Yes,
same
yes,
time
definitely. It
and
is
everybody is interested. हाँ, ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग हो गया. थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा पर इसमें इंटरेस्ट आएगा तो बहुत आएगा आपको.
correct.
वेरी गुड बुक. ओके. सो फॉर टुडे दैट्स ऑल.
Thank you.
थैंक यू एवरीबॉडी.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू.
Thank you.